Hey young people, how about a little coronavirus news update? Y'all ready? Here we go. Hey young people. Well, shit. I deleted that other video. It's still up on Bitchute, just because it was fake. My buddy says he got it from his wife, or sister, or wife, one of the two, that works in a hospital. So I took it for granted that it was probably legit. I should have checked it after people started posting that it supposedly was fake. I did some research, and it seems like it was fake. So sorry about posting fake info. I'd like to whip somebody's butt who's ever out there making up fake crap about this, trying to pass out misinformation. But anyway, I'm going to give some more information about this virus, kind of go over the news, do a few things here, and let's get going here on this. This site seems to be World Meters Info. Coronavirus has a lot of information on it. Right here is the website. You can tell I got a lot of tabs open up here. Anyway, if you go down here, it gives a lot of different things. Right here, if you click symptoms, it gives the symptoms as fever, cough, shortness of breath. You know, when you do fake stuff, usually if you put just enough, a few good facts, then you can lie about other stuff. So, anyway, fever, cough, shortness of breath. That seems to be the common theme. The cough is usually dry, and the fever is usually around 100 or 101. I think it goes in further. You can go typical symptoms. Starts with a fever, followed by a dry cough. After a week, it can lead to shortness of breath. 20% of patients require a hospital. I guess some rarely see a runny nose, sore throat, sneezing, stuffy nose. 80% of cases are mild. That's a good stat. 13.8 are severe, 4.7 is critical, and 2% is fatal. Pre-existing conditions that really kind of mess things up is cardiovascular, diabetes, respiratory, and hypertension. They kind of go through here also on what day one symptoms. Pretty good website. I'm not going to go through. Mild cases, approximately 2 weeks. Severe cases, 3 to 6 weeks. They had one patient that carried it for 27 days. In here. So according to this, fever, 98% people get fever, 69 get fatigue, and 59 get a dry cough. So fever and dry cough for sure. This kind of breaks it down a little bit to signs and symptoms, values, if you want to pause it or go to that. Here's some more common symptoms. But anyway, there's quite a few articles on here that I want to get to, and I want to get to a little map here. So here is another good little draft. Let's see. There's the thing right there. Nova 219. Man, it took me forever to type this out, and I typed it and I couldn't get it to come up. I had to actually go from the link. So this was a little bit difficult to find. But if you can find it, it looks like it's got pretty good information. It gives global, the changes, etc. And then down here it gives USA. What I find interesting about the USA is we're still only 1% recovered. We've got a total of 450 serious cases. Out of the entire United States, all 450 is from left-wing crapola, New York, left-wing liberal. 450 serious cases. All out of one state. In the whole United States, there's no other serious cases. I find that a money grab. I find it fake. And I bet you New York is making all their cases serious so they can get money, funding, votes, and take from everyone else. Typical left wing. I don't believe anything coming out of New York as much as I believe it coming out of China. The only difference is China's trying to hide how bad it is. New York makes it want to look 10 times worse so they can blame Trump and get more federal money. That just makes me sick. There ought to be an investigation on that alone. But anyway, and then you go down further and it breaks it down to China, Europe. Europe's 8% recovered. China's 90% recovered. A couple days ago, they were 80% recovered. Australia's at 8%. Canada's at 2%. Latin America, 2%. So this is another pretty good little map with some information. Somebody sent me this, and I'm not sure. It looks like it was a draft, do not distribute. a lot of times in government, they'll make you do a report, will mark it with draft, do not distribute, because it hasn't been finalized, and the people who want to change it because it doesn't fit their agenda and they want to take things out and make it look worse or make it look better, they always do these drafts. Then they put that out to all the people, and then everybody gets to, oh, I don't want it to say that, makes it look bad. Oh, I want it to say this, it makes it look worse. I want it to say this, we'll get more money. So this being a draft tells me it's probably the most honest report out there, but I didn't read the whole thing. I don't know how important it is. I'm not even sure what Crimson Contagion was. It looks like some exercise maybe on this. It's a pretty long, lengthy report. If somebody wants to go to it and read it, and if you're into reading all this information, then feel free. I'm thinking someone sent this to me because they're saying it was a draft of what's going on now, so therefore they knew. Look, everybody knows that if we got hit with a pandemic, there's not a whole bunch of ways it's going to go. It's going to spread, it's going to overtax the system, and we got to find a way to deal with it. So, I mean, to me, it's not a shocker that we did exercises, because we try to do exercises on real world incidents so we can practice and get better when a real world incident happens. So, but I'm sure somebody's like, no, they knew it was coming. This was all fake. So this is off int.nyt. I assume NewYorkTimes.com. There it is. If you want to pause it and write down that thing, full PDF, you can go visit that. And according to the New York Slimes, police tread lightly as pandemic spreads. I told you in the other video, I drive around, I don't see any cops making stops anywhere. I know several people working at several agencies, and all police departments have been told, standing order, don't contact, don't spread, don't make traffic stops, don't get involved in low-level crimes, don't arrest unless you have to. If you arrest, we got to test, we got to book them in, then we contaminate the jail. They don't want to arrest. Government has pretty much washed their hands of law enforcement like they do every time, which is why you should own a gun. You should have had guns and ammo. You should have tried. Now people can't get it. The government's dropping the ball on backgrounds. People have waiting periods. Everybody's trying to buy it. There's a high demand with a low supply. So, and of course, like every episode where some crisis happen, government always abandons the people, takes care of themselves, and the people are on their own. I've said it 1,000 times, and I don't know how many videos. So, you know, it sounds nice. Oh, they tread lightly. No, they're not. They're told to stand down, don't contact anybody, don't take any risk, and let people fend for themselves. So, you know what that means to me? I speed everywhere I go. I ain't seen a cop. They ain't making traffic stops. Even if they see you speed, that, not that I would encourage anybody who ever break the law or do anything against the government, because government is good and they're here to help us. All right, let's go next. I find it funny in this map that we're not really that much worse than everyone else, but if you look at this map, it looks like the entire United States is wiped out. I mean, Asia only has little groups. Australia has little groups. South America has little groups. Europe has a pretty good group. Africa's got little groups. But you look at the United States in the world of disaster, and it looks like the whole country is wiped out. I'm saying that's a little bit of fake news. But anyway. Well, of course the police are using Chinese-made drones. Everything's made in China. Rick, why do we make everything in China? Because the left-wing liberals want to ban everything, want to protect everything, want to write gigantic bills restricting business, saying, oh, we're looking out for the little guy. We have to stop these mean business people from making money. Oh, they're taking advantage. They're making these poor people work for jobs and money. And then the government can't come to the rescue and say, we'll just give away free money. So we need to shut down business. What's the best way to do that? Overregulate, demand everything is a hazard, global warming, pollution, we're killing the mosquitoes, the scorpions are endangered, whatever crazy reason the left wants to come up with. They want all business to be in everywhere else, so the U.S. is a failure, turns into a shithole, because socialists love shithole countries, because then they can play the government. There's the have and the have-nots, and they can take the high road and have all their guns and get protection. Meanwhile, you pesky, ignorant citizens that voted in socialism pay the price. And I guess in Dallas, they locked them down, and some people are singing from the windows. they had a little video here. A couple guys singing. Big deal. Dallas is another crap hole that's on lockdown. So this doctor, all we're hearing is negative, negative, crisis. It's going to be over. The world is there. It's the end of the world as we know it. So that's all we're hearing now. But this guy's like, dude, it's not as bad as it is. This guy made a pretty good, let's see, warning months, even years, massive social disruption, millions. Levitt says, and I might say it's wrong, Levitt, whatever, says the data simply doesn't support that dire scenario, especially in areas where reasonable social distancing has been taking place, which is what we're doing. We need to control the panic, he said. This guy talks a lot of reason in this article. He's got some numbers to back him up. He did some calculations, and it was almost spot on. Where did he say where his predictions were? Here they were, right here. He did a prediction early when when it first came out that it would peak at about 80,000 with about 3,200 deaths. And the actual was 80,298 with 3,245 deaths. Less deaths, a little more cases. But his prediction, he's using the same formula for the U.S. and other places, and he's like, hey, it's not as bad as everybody going to see. We're going to go. This guy won a Nobel Prize in chemistry, and he's now analyzed 78 countries. The numbers are still noisy, but clear signs, slow growth. Where did he say that he thought confirmed or remain? Anyway, if you want to go read the article, it's a pretty good article. Unfortunately, it's on Yahoo, which is usually fake news. And if you look up this guy's name in this thing, you'll be able to find it. But, I mean, the guy has some pretty good facts to back up his don't freaking panic. And in the middle of the big pandemic, somehow the Marines is planning to meet the China threat. Again, this is about military money and what the Marines are doing away with. There was a little draft here somewhere on what they were getting rid of. I always kind of look at what kind of gear, whether this is a real dude out here or whether they some posed. It looked like this dude may be out in the field. Oh, here we go. So unmanned aerial vehicle squadrons. We have current 3. We're going to go up to 6. Missile and rockets current. We have 7 batteries of missile and rockets. We're going to go up to 21. C-130 aircraft squadrons. We have 3. We're going up to 4. That's a really good aircraft. I can't tell you how many of those have delivered me from locations and picked me up to locations. Take off quick, good, reliable aircraft. I like them. Fighter attack squadrons, they're going to stay at 18. Cannon batteries, we're at 21. They're going down to 5 for some reason. These guys are taking a big hit. Tank companies, going from 7 to 0. Wow. Now, this is a Marines, remember. Bridging companies going from 3 to 0. Infantry battalions going from 24 to 21. Tilt rotor aircraft, 17 to 14. These are squadrons, not number aircraft. Tilt aircraft squadrons. There's currently 17, so they're knocking off 3 squadrons. Helicopter attack squadrons, we got 7. They're going to 5. And helicopter heavy lift squadrons, those come in handy. I don't know how you guys been through air assault school. I was scheduled to go, man. I didn't miss it. I was upset. But anyway, helicopter heavy lift squadrons, 8 to 5. And some couple wanted to buy 552 cans of Mountain Dew at Kroger. And Kroger said no, and they threw a fit. Because they're saying, look, quit hoarding. Other people deserve Mountain Dew too. Not just you two idiots wanting 552 cans. So, evidently there was a video, but I couldn't find it. And in liberal left-wing Detroit, the landlord's small business survival plan. Free rent until July. Look, landlords don't want to evict people, and if they got tenants who can pay, who are working and are good tenants, why do you want to kick them out in a crisis? It's probably not the right thing to do anything, but I mean, in the business aspect, hey, let's give them a break. You know, banks used to work with people that were behind on their loans because they knew them. It was small. It was handled locally. Now we got national banks, federal banks, banks regulated by the feds, telling them who to loan and who not, depending on what color, what sex you are, what priority they want to put you in. It doesn't matter whether or not you can afford or you got good credit. It's all about quotas, filling quotas, and checking a box. That's what liberalism does. Another way to destroy the economy. That's kind of interesting. A lot of you people probably ain't never been to a drive-in. As kids, we used to go to drive-ins all the time. We'd sneak in drive-ins. We'd sneak through the gate. We'd climb over the fence. We'd hide in the trunk. We did all kind of things to get in the drive-ins as a kid. You usually pay by the car. Sometimes they'd charge you by the person. So they charge by the person. A couple guys hiding in the trunk could save you, $4 or $5, which was a lot of money back then when, gas was $1 or $1.50. But anyway, drive-through or drive-ins are making a comeback because you can sit in your car. You don't have to come in contact with people. You got a speaker. I think now it just comes over your radio. You used to have a big old speaker on the outside of the car you hook in. But now it just comes over your radio. So that's pretty cool. Government, man, they're just going crazy. I don't know if I really have a problem with this. I normally don't like when government sticks their nose in. But for something like this, if you're trying to rip people off, I think that's what government is there, is protect people who would become victims when government has the power to stop them. So these freaking idiots made a website and was charging you $4.95 shipping for a free vaccine kit for coronavirus. Now, I know there's a lot of fake news, but if you have to go to one little off-the-wall website and they're charging you $4.95 for shipping for a vaccine and you ain't heard one thing about a vaccine, and you do any type of research and nobody's got a vaccine and it's spreading and people are still locked down, we'd probably call that a clue, but okay. Evidently, a lot of people sent in money and they finally shut the site down. And who thinks what company has more information on you and on the public than anyone else besides government? My vote would go Google or Facebook. Well, Google has a cloud and they let a whole bunch of people steal 200 American stuff. And they got full names, email, dates of birth, credit ratings, home mortgage, you name it. Google gave it up. To me, Google should be liable. Every person should get lots of money and Google should have to pay out the butt. But Google's got the government in their back pocket because they give them a lot of money, so nothing will happen. It'll be a big mistake and, they'll apologize and give you free Google access for the next year. And like always, anytime there's a crisis, the government's going to come in and start rationing for safety. To keep you safe, because everybody is working from home, internet usage is going up, and now the government wants to get their little tentacle fingers into the internet, and they want to start rationing and prioritizing apps on the web. And you know what apps the experts are going to pick? The apps that push the political agenda that they want. It'll be the apps on hate Trump. It'll be the apps on why Trump caused coronavirus. It'll be the app on how Trump colluded. Those will be the apps that will be considered critical, and everyone else will get rationed if you want to research something like how to feed yourself or how to plant a garden. If it's not rationed, YouTube will block it because it doesn't fit in their standards because you offended somebody because you killed a bug when you planted a garden. So in this article, it kind of comes out like, oh my God, British teen dies. We were told kids would be safe, and oh my God, after testing fire. And then you read down at the end of the article, and it says the statement, let's see here. What's the last part of the article? They also tested, the 18-year-old had significant underlying health issues. But we don't say what that is. We don't know if they were on a respirator before. We don't know if it was a smoker, whether it was a vapor, whether it was a drug user that was using drugs in her liver. We don't know anything except a little blip down here. The 18-year-old had a significant underlying health issue when confirmed with the virus. So, big title, British teen dies 1 day after testing positive. Oh my God, it killed her in 1 day. Go buy toilet paper. Holy cow. Freaking fake news crap. And this says there was a bunch of pictures of people lying on the road. I mean, this has got some serious pictures. They've got people on the ground. Obviously, I'm assuming this is oxygen. I don't know if people use... I don't think the U.S. uses white for oxygen. Aren't we green? I forgot. I have to go out and look at my little welding thing. What oxygen? I thought oxygen was green. Maybe it's white over there. I'm assuming this is oxygen. I'm just guessing. I don't need somebody coming. I don't need 14 people. Rick, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. White means it's acetic acid with a compound X of hydrogen. All right, whatever. I think it's oxygen because it's there with little mass, but what do I know? All right, so they go through all of these. Of course, the drive going up for people dying or catching the virus. There's that peak. This peak here, I mean, it really, Italy's way up here, and the U.S. is kind of down here. even though the U.S. has quite a bit more people than Italy. I think. I would have to check. Somebody's going to come here. China's got quite a bit of people, and even they're lower than Italy. But everybody's like, oh, it wiped out. Well, maybe Italy had some. I heard. What did I hear about Italy? There was something about either old population. I mean, I'm not trying to pick blame or wish this on anybody. I'm just saying there was indicators on why Italy did not fare well doing this. Let's see here. Spanish worker, national health, test murders while wearing a face mask. Okay. There was quite a few little pictures in here. People, you need to learn how to wear a mask. If you're not going to cover your nose, I mean, I don't get these people wearing masks and they're not even covered. But anyway, what's this? Coronavirus death rate in the worst affected European countries. Man, Germany looks like it did pretty good. Germany must be small compared to these. I wish they would put population, because that would put it in context, on what it is. But they don't put that. They just make these drafts to where it looks like everything's going up and everybody's dying. Let's see. What else we got here? Corona deaths in Germany. There's that spike. There's that peak that they're trying to prevent by social and distancing. This woman, she's got all this vest on and her whole neck and everything's exposed and everything else is covered and taped and booties, but her neck's all I don't get that. Rick, you don't know what I don't. I'm just guessing. I'm seeing people running around in little suits and okay. They did a nice job making a lot of beds. They I think it was 5,000 beds, makeshift in an exhibition center for an intensive care unit. So they got them spaced. I don't know if those are little oxygen things. Maybe that's like a little parking meter. You got to stick a quarter in there. Government can't pass up a thing to have you rent space. So we got these people all in mask, and we got this guy with no mask. Rick, why are you picking on him just because he's wearing blue? I'm not picking on anybody. I'm simply pointing out the obvious to me. Okay, I'm sorry. You got mask, 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 no mask, 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 sort of mask. These guys are spraying down people in army unit in, what is that, Grenada? This guy gives a thumb up. Everybody's got their mask on. Okay. This dude's got an umbrella and a mask, but he's wearing it on his chin. Rick, maybe he needs... Shut up, you freaking crybabies. I'm just pointing it out. All right, so they're cleaning out cars here. Streets are empty. See how this guy's mask is fitting tight all the way around? That's going to help him not breathe in. See how there's a big loop right there? There's a hole there. There's a hole there in her mask to where air can get sucked in this way, get sucked in this way, can get sucked in this way. That's why the surgical masks that people are wearing aren't really effective. But anyway, his mask is good face fitting. Let's see. We got a mask here. We got guy, no mask, no mask, no mask. We got no social distancing. Let me guess. This is government telling us how we got to lock down. Japanese Prime Minister still committed to hosting a complete game. What game's in Japan? Is that the one that Canada is pulled out of? Oh, maybe it is. Canada will not send summer games. Is the summer games in Japan? Hell, I don't keep up with damn sports. All right, I'm just reporting it. I don't want the freaking ferret police, ferret lives matter, hostile people coming and killing me because they're testing. Russia testing coronavirus vaccine on primates and ferrets in a top secret bioweapons lab. So evidently they've already got 3 in this article. They got 3 different vaccines they're testing, and supposedly one of them looks promising. I'm not saying it's right, correct, wrong. I'm just telling you what's being reported, people. And once again, government's never going to let a crisis go to waste when they can grab some sort of power grab. Singapore, Big Brother, fights against the coronavirus. Ooh, that sounds like they're doing really good. They've got an app that you can download, and if you come in contact with somebody, or if you met somebody, or if you're having symptoms, etc., and the app tracks everybody through the app, and the government can tell where the outbreaks, where the hot spots, where's people come in contact, etc. So I'm sure that's not the only thing they're gathering, but you go ahead and download that app. Me, I ain't downloading the app personally. How the hell is Venezuela prohibiting layoffs? I didn't think anybody had a job there. thought everybody was freaking selling their hair and selling their kids to buy food because liberalism took over and socialism took over and they lost their guns. They gave up their guns and then the government was shooting people in the street. Now all of a sudden the government's saying no layoffs. Wow. Here comes all the socialist left-wing liberals. See, Venezuela's great. We should be like them. Yeah, that's because you're a freaking idiot. This was pretty interesting. It shows how far a cough goes, even and when it travels through the air. And I don't know what kind of thing they're filming this with, but you kind of got to look hard. So first it's going to show this one because it's got a red box around. Let me refresh it. Okay, let's try this again. Here we go. Had to refresh it. So this normal breathing. See the air? See the heat coming off his head? Now it switched to cough. So the cough is coming way out here. Okay? Now it's going to switch over here. This is a hand in front of the face. Not a very good hand. You can still see it way up here on how the cough if you don't cover your face here. And hang on. Okay, here we go. Now it's going to go here with your arm over your, using your elbow or your sleeve. That really stops it. It goes up instead of forward. This is coughing into a dust mask. You can see it still going pretty far. It's getting way out here. That's in a dust mask. And this is in a surgical mask. It stops pretty good for if you're coughing, which is why they're saying the surgical mask is good if you have the coronavirus. The surgical mask is good to help preventing its spread. It's not good to help you from catching it because it has so many holes. And it's really designed for a doctor so when they're doing surgery, they don't cough or drop or droplets or breathe into an open body when they're doing surgery. So it's more to contain what's coming out of your mouth, not to help prevent what goes into your mouth. Although it's better than nothing. And I don't know who this girl is, but supposedly there's a new study out that says guys that look at boobs tend to feel better, and it helps prevent the coronavirus. I'm just kidding, people. Good grief. This stupid article was something about this woman, and I don't even know who she is. Let me try to go back and see who it is. Somebody be asking me, I'll be like, I don't know. Christy McGinnis, whatever. Her husband likes looking at her working out on a bike, whatever. I don't know why I got that. Somehow it opened up or it caught my eye. So we'll end it with this last article. This woman gets a felony arrest for coughing in the face of a paramedic. Rick, they can't do that just because she coughed. Well, there's a little more to it. So on March 27th, the woman was arrested for assaulting her boyfriend. Let's see. Her boyfriend shouted, a woman arrested for assaulting her boyfriend shouted, I have the coronavirus for intentionally coughing in the face of a paramedic who she sprayed with copious amounts of saliva, the police charge. Responding Wednesday to a domestic violence call, domestic violence call in Lady Lake, an Orlando suburb, police encountered a bloody victim. The man, whose nose was broken, told officers that he had been attacked by his girlfriend, LaRonda Sharaka Holmes. Damn, LaRonda, shit, you screwed him up, broke his nose. The man said he was lying in his bed with Holmes, and she told the victim she wanted to have sex, according to the probable cause. The victim recalled that he declined. Like the way they're on. The victim, the guy with the broken nose, that's the victim, recalled that he declined to engage with Holmes since she was leaving him to get back with her ex-husband. That sounds reasonable. Holmes became very agitated, at which time she roundhouse kicked the victim in the nose, then punched him in the nose. That resulted in the victim's nose breaking. The victim then started bleeding all over the place in the residence. Pictures above shows Holmes as a black belt in martial arts. She's a black belt. Oh, shit. Here we go. Hey, I didn't make up the color of the belt. Don't make this a racial thing. Let's see. Since it was unclear on whether she was having a medical episode. What? Let's see. Holmes was arrested for battery of her boyfriend. As cops tried to get her in a squad car, she kept falling on the ground, prompting them to summons EMS to help them. Unclear whether or not she had a medical episode. Paramedics sought to evaluate Holmes. She became physically combative. The EMS worker sedated the arrestee. I'm not sure what this means, sedated. Did he like shoot her with a drug? Did he put her gas mask on her and give her... Well, how did he sedate her? Was he holding her in a chokehold? Anyway, Holmes was being placed in a stretcher, and she shouted, "I have the coronavirus." Holmes then allegedly coughed directly in the face of the MS organ, which resulted in copious amounts of saliva landing on the paramedic's face. Holmes was subsequently transported to the hospital for further evaluation. All right, so they arrested her, felony counts, domestic battery, battery on a paramedic. She was released from the county jail late Thursday after posting $7,000 bond. Holmes, whose rap sheet includes several prior battery convictions. Oh, they're just picking on her. Anyway, so coronavirus is now being used to threaten people. Is deadly force authorized? I would doubt it. But you know what? That paramedic could have a civil suit against her if he ends up catching the coronavirus and she tests positive. But that's just going to be more money because probably now the paramedic has to be tested. She has to be tested. All kind of things the government's going to try and find out, all kind of information. Anyway, we'll end that there on coronavirus news. Sorry about the fake one I posted. Hopefully this has more up-to-date and current information. We'll end that there. Y'all have a good one.